Hi everyone, I hope that you're doing well. Welcome to another episode. I am so excited for this video, and although I know I say that a lot, I really am excited. Today I'm going to talk about yoga and how I got into it, why I think everyone should practice yoga, and how it has impacted my life. So if you would like to watch this video and learn more about that, please keep watching. And without further ado, let's get started. So before we start, if you like this video, please give it a thumbs up and subscribe because it really does support my channel. So just to put a little disclaimer out there, I am not a yoga teacher, I'm not a professional, I'm not a medical doctor, so please take my advice as my own personal advice and with a pinch of salt, and consult your medical professional before you endure any exercise or experience. So I really started getting into yoga around 7 years ago, even when I was living in Slovakia still. I kind of was just playing some YouTube videos and stuff here and there. It was really when I moved to the UK that I got myself a yoga mat. This is not my yoga mat from 7 years ago, just so you know. I got myself a yoga mat and I wanted to be more consistent in my practice. I didn't really know a lot about the history of yoga itself, where it originated. I knew it originated in India. It's more of an Eastern tradition, but I remember it started becoming very popular because of some yoga teachers that have brought it to the West, which I'm really excited about. But also people like Yoga with Adriene, who kind of brought it to our living rooms. You know, you can watch now. I do a little yoga practice from anywhere that you are. So I really wanted to be more consistent. I wanted to be more in tune with my body and with my soul and with my breath. And I didn't really have language to articulate it, what I felt when I started, but it felt really good to move very slowly. And obviously there's some more dynamic yogas like Ashtangas, but the ones that I've practiced was more of a Vinyasa flow or Yin yoga, which are more of a slow version of the practice. And I felt really connected to that practice and that moving, because most of the exercise that I was doing or I was being taught to do was very high paced and high intensity training, which is great. You know, we like a little hit here and there, but yoga became my grounding. Yoga became something that I wanted to come back to on a regular basis. I remember this interview that Oprah did with, I can't remember who anymore, but I will try to find out. And it was one of her Super Soul conversations. And there was this lady, she said, whenever she feels turmoil or something is going on in her life, she goes to the sea or to the ocean. She wants to listen to the waves. That's her grounding. That's where she feels she can recharge. And I felt like that with my yoga practice. Although it wasn't perfect, I wasn't super flexible yet, or I wasn't doing all these crazy postures that some of the yoga teachers are doing, but I felt connected to myself. I felt that's my thing that I do. And I think it's so beautiful that I found that in early 20s. I think especially when there's so much pressure about how you're supposed to look or exactly the posture that you're supposed to do as someone who practices yoga. And that's why I really like Yoga with Adriene channel, because she always meets you where you are and she doesn't make you feel that you should push beyond what you are comfortable with, and I really appreciate that. So I can say that I've been doing yoga almost every day for 6 years. I say almost because, you know, there's a little things here and there. But even if you look at the words, you know, that what we think a yoga is, for me, and again, taking into consideration the history of yoga, for me, it is to be aware of my breath and what I'm doing, and be mindful of the movements, and also being aware of the benefits of the practice. So I used to set an intention every single time I used to do practice, just to ground myself again. So before I used to, start my practice, I would say, I want to feel connected, I want to feel more grounded, I want to feel strong. And because I set that intention at the beginning of the practice, I felt like that at the end. And I think it's not about 90 minutes flows or 60 minute flows. Sometimes it's about 5 minutes. Sometimes it's about getting on the mat, taking a deep breath, getting connected to yourself, and moving with the intention. That's what yoga is for me. And I love longer flows as much as anyone else. But sometimes I give myself permission to just be there for 5 minutes, and then I know that I will want to be there longer as well. One of my favorite podcasts, Dr. Rangan Chatterjee, Feel Better, Live More. He has a few books, but one is about the concept of 5 minutes, and how we have these misconception that things should take a long time in order for you to see the benefits. But actually, I've noticed with yoga that it's the meditative practice of it that draws me into it. It's the fact that I can be connected to myself, that I can inhale and exhale, and I can almost get into those between thoughts that people are talking about, that I can be aware of me being aware there. And it's really beautiful. And I do see my yoga practice as my meditation. I do a little meditation in the morning, but especially when I follow with my yoga practice, it's the movement that can sometimes allow some of the emotions that are or have been trapped in you for a long time to move. And that's one of the things that I have seen in my yoga practice, is that sometimes I say out of nowhere, but it is not out of nowhere. Something changes, something shifts in me emotionally. And you can see a lot of people talking about their yoga experiences as kind of this emotional flood of energy just moving out of their body, in a way that they start crying suddenly, or something releases, or they feel freedom. And because you marry your breath with the movement, it creates shifts in your body, and maybe some of the emotions, because you're using that conscious breath, can be released in a safe and comfortable space and environment. And I feel really grateful that I discovered this practice, because it changed my life for the better. I feel more connected to myself on a daily basis, even when things are going crazy, like now, when there is uncertainty in the world. I feel I can create my own world on my yoga mat. So it's the emotional aspect, of course, the physical aspects. I did get more flexible. I can do these crazy poses and stuff like that, but it's not even about that. The movement is really just a tool for you to come back to yourself, of like your true self, of who you are. And I love that, and I wanted to share it with you because I know what an impact it still has on my life. And I think the thing with yoga is, it really is the consistency is key, I think. You can do one amazing 60 minutes yoga class somewhere in a studio, somewhere in central London. And that's great. You will feel amazing. That's what I'm saying. There's so many amazing physical benefits of yoga. You're stretching most of the time, and your bones are getting more flexible, and it's really good for you, the way you will age well. That's one aspect of it, the physical aspect. There's also the emotional aspect that I've mentioned, but also I almost feel it has become my spiritual practice, and I know a lot of people can be quite funny about that, but I think everyone has their own spiritual practice, and whatever you decide that to be, that's completely up to you. It's my personal crafted journey that I've created for myself, and a part of that is yoga, daily yoga, most of the time. And so I would love to know if you are practicing yoga and the way it is changing your life, if at all. And I think at the end, because I do want to keep this video a little shorter than I usually do, I just want to share some of my things that I do have for practicing yoga, what I found really useful. Of course, yoga mat, you know, get whatever yoga mat you want, you have access to, it's available to you. Then there's something called a bolster in your yoga practice. It's almost kind of like a, how do I explain it? It's kind of like a big pillow, something like that. I do not have bolster here, but sometimes I use my foam roller for that purpose. I think foam roller is great, especially when you do more intense workouts, like HIIT workouts, or every time I lift weights, I use some foam roller on my muscles. It really relaxes your muscle. It's almost like a massage for your body, which, who doesn't want that? And then I have my yoga blocks here. So yoga blocks are great. They're not a necessity, you know, especially when you're starting yoga. I used to use books a lot at the beginning, which I found really useful, especially for some of the poses which you want to adjust a little bit at the beginning. If there's a pose that you are working towards and you still can't get there, yoga blocks are really great to support that part of your body. And again, I think another misconception I think about yoga is that it has to be always, you know, obviously it's a practice, you are improving your postures all the time, but you have to listen to your body and meet your body where it is. And yoga is not supposed to be painful. Any exercise, in my opinion, is not supposed to be painful, let alone yoga practice, which is supposed to enhance you in some way or another. So yoga blocks are really great when you just feel you need that little bit of extra support. And you know, you can also use a blanket. I have a blanket that's over there now. But blanket is really great for especially the ending postures in yoga, shavasana, which are like the resting postures, the final postures in vinyasa practices. And also they're great if you want to end with a little, yeah, shavasana and put the blanket on you, or you can, I put this block just right underneath my head so I can relax. They are really foamy, most of these blocks, yoga blocks that you can get. So they are soft and squidgy. And what else? Yeah, so I think essential oils are great for yoga practice. I have these nice kind of lavender. I mean, I'm giving it to you, like you can smell it. Essential oils are great because I think it's just another sense that you're incorporating in your practice. So yeah, yoga blocks. I think yoga mat is the one thing that would be useful for you to have. And even if you don't have yoga mat, you know, if you have a carpet, or even if you just have a floor and you can lay some blanket on the top of that, you know, the way I started practicing, I did not have a yoga mat. I think it was exercise mat or something. You know, equipment, these things should not stop you from pursuing something. So yes, please do let me know if you want to try yoga, what are some of your tips, how it has impacted you. And yeah, I look forward to hearing from you and also sharing more stuff about Ayurveda, which is like the whole holistic medicine, which yoga is a part of. So yeah, I'm really excited for that, and thank you guys so much for watching. 14 minutes long. I hope I will see you soon. Bye.